What's up, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Thomas Dolby from his Aliens Ate My Buick album, 1988. Thank you again to Stan, as well as to Mark and others who've been part of this deep dive. And the next track, make sure I have it right, yes, The Ability to Swing. So I don't know, swing can mean different things. It can be about a style of dancing and a style of jazz music. It can be about promiscuity. It could be about changing very rapidly from one position to another, be that intellectually or socially, and even interpersonally in terms of a debate or a discussion. So I don't know what I necessarily expect. Maybe more in the musical vein, but perhaps with a double entendre in terms of swinging in the amorous, promiscuous way. So yeah, once again, like thinking about this album title, I've been amused from the very beginning in terms of what the essence of this might be. Would it be a concept album? Either way, it's a very intriguing title. Let's give it a listen. This is Thomas Dolby. The song is The Ability to Swing, and it's from his 1988 album Aliens Ate My Buick.
Everybody thinking pretty hard. Everybody thinking about singing from the heart. If you want my opinion, it doesn't mean a thing if you haven't got that ability to swing. Yeah, the ability to swing. Everybody working pretty hard. Everybody working at singing from the heart. If you want my opinion, it isn't worth a beat if you ain't in possession. The ability to swing. Oh, the ability to swing. Dreams, take them away and go it alone. Honey Road wasn't built in a day, but now it's a ruin. The joke is one thing, and it isn't cool to abuse the ability to swing. Oh, everybody talking pretty loud. Everybody looking to stand up from the crowd. Gonna break it to you, bucko. It doesn't mean a thing if you ain't in possession. The ability to swing. Oh, the ability to swing. Friends, send them away. Go it alone. Honey Road wasn't built in a day, but now it's a ruin. The joke is one thing, and it isn't cool to abuse the ability to swing. Looking pretty hard. Everybody looking for a meaning in my art. Gonna give it to you straight, boy. It doesn't mean a thing if you haven't got that ability to swing. The ability to swing. The ability to swing. The ability to swing. Yeah. The ability to swing. The ability to swing.
Cool, Daddy-O. Yeah, definitely a bit of a, like, hipster vibe on that one. But not so much like swing jazz, but a bit jazzy, a bit like, club cool jazz sort of vibe, including in his vocals, which by the end he's almost like whispering. He's sort of like articulating in a very breathy manner. Lyrically, more on that, though it does make me think of that line, which, like, as I'm remembering it, I think it comes from like a Lawrence Welk broadcast, and yes, I just made a Lawrence Welk reference, but it was later like sampled by this like kind of 90s quasi-rave like audio-visual team called the Emergency Broadcast Network, which is that line like, don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing, and they'd kind of like, they sampled it so it was like, don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing. Nevertheless, yeah, that seems to be essentially the vibe here. Like, you want to stand out, you want to, make a mark or be significant. Well, let me tell you, bucko, you ain't going to do that, and you're not going to interest me unless you've got the ability to swing, which, again, you could maybe take that word in some different ways, even in that context. But the idea of, like, being dynamic, flexible, and or vibrant, and adapting yourself to circumstances and finding a way to flourish, maybe there's something to that. But I think maybe also there's something more specific happening here that on a first listen I feel like I'm just on the edges of, I'm kind of like looking through the window at. But yeah, I enjoy the the snaps and the little ride cymbal, little brass flourish here and there, and the sort of the keyboard jazz sort of vibes. I think there's like a double bass, a contrabass that may have been plucking away. So yeah, a cool tune, an artful tune, and it does seem like, and I've said this from the very beginning of the Dolby Deep Dive, even in the world of like 80s music, and even though some of it is, what you could reasonably call like synth pop, he's kind of out on his own island. He's just like doing things that are unique to his artistic and rhythmic sensibilities, and so that's something that I noticed even before this album, and it feels like it's just the point is being driven home by this album. I did enjoy, by the way, the She Blinded Me with Science. If you didn't see on my Patreon, I did a mini documentary, and that was like the first time I ever heard like Dolby talking and like seeing him discuss his music. It was a little while back. It's publicly available on my Patreon, so if you haven't seen it, you can go check that out. And once again, shout out to Michaela for providing the song documentaries I've been going through. But yeah, that was very enlightening to me, and just getting a sense of his creative process through that song documentary. So again, thinking about that and hearing the songs on this album, again, he's just kind of his own entity, and there's a real sense of unique qualities to his music and composition. So yeah, once again, big shout out to that. Big shout out to Mark, who obviously has provided a lot of insight and interest in this album. Let me know what you think, and Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.